Hey, Screaming Geek Media here. I'm Jerry the Geek. Today we're going to be talking about the 4K release of Friday the 13th. But before we do, if you like physical media, 4Ks, Blu-rays, DVDs, if you like home theater, or just movies in general, please check out my other videos on my channel. Like and subscribe and turn your bell notifications on. So we're going to talk about this new 4K release of Friday the 13th. You know, the original movie came out in 1980. You know, starring Betsy Palmer, Adrienne King, Janine Taylor, Kevin Bacon. That was one of his early roles. And of course, it was directed by Sean S. Cunningham. Not really going to go and talk about the movie if you don't know what the movie's about. Sorry about your luck. Definitely one of the all-time great horror movies. You know, basically it was after Halloween, and they came around and was like, "Oh, Halloween's big. What can we make? Let's rip it off. Let's make our own horror movie." And that's basically what they did. And as a whole, I like Halloween better. But as a franchise, I think I enjoy the Friday the 13th franchise more. Since there's, as far as I enjoy every one of them more compared to the Halloweens. A lot of them kind of suck. But in Friday the 13th, you know, watching it again this weekend, a couple of things just always, I had a really laugh at a couple of the scenes. It's like early on when they're at the dock, and the one, I think it was Ned, he was pretending he was drowning, and as they were trying to help, save him, as they get him up, they're bringing him up to the dock, the girl's got a life preserver, and she throws it to him, and he's like not even 2 feet away from the dock, and they grab it, and she just throws the life preserver aside. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, really? I just thought it was kind of comical. Near the end, when she's getting chased through the cabins, and she goes into one, she pulls the door shut, she grabs a rope and ties it around the knob so it can't be pulled open. And then she starts piling shit in front of the door. It's like, how's that going to block them from coming in because the door opens the opposite way? So I thought that was kind of comical. I'm not sure what they were thinking when they made it. Definitely, this is one of my all-time favorite movies. It's classic. Great to see on 4K finally. You got the great Tom Savini did the makeup effects for. He's done a lot of great movies over the time. He's had a great career. I love the stuff he does. You know, a lot of dead movies, Dawn of the Dead. I always remember reading a lot about him, and back in when I used to collect the Fangoria magazines back in the day. Now this 4K release comes from Paramount. Just came out this month, September 2022. Now, if any of you follow me on like Instagram, you know this has been a long road getting this damn thing. You know, I pre-ordered this from Amazon back in June. And I was so stoked. Like, oh wow, comes the release day. Hadn't even shipped yet. And then trying to get help from Amazon. Their customer support sucks. They couldn't help. Blah blah blah. A week after release, it still had not shipped. Finally, like a day or so later, it finally shipped. I was PO'd. I was like, I spend, lots of money with Amazon. Sure, I don't have Prime. That's where they're screwing customers. You pre-order, you should have it, Someone could have ordered that this day of release online and had the damn thing before I got it when I pre-ordered it months in advance. So I don't think I'm going to be pre-ordering from Amazon again. Earlier this year, I pre-ordered the Ghostbusters set from Walmart, and I had it when it came out. So I'm not trusting Amazon anymore with pre-orders. Screw them. But anyway, we have this was originally filmed in 35mm. They did a 4K digital intermediate, HDR10, Dolby Vision. I was skeptical. I was really leery. I was seeing a lot of mixed reviews. Even before it came out, there was some people that was claiming to have early copies of, and they were complaining that it was DNR'd and it looked like crap. The color grading was screwed up. But then once it came out, I was seeing a good positive reviews on it, so I was going on with an open mind, really looking at things, really good. And all of that got, set aside because this is a fantastic transfer. Yes, it is dark, especially a lot of the nighttime scenes. There's some stuff that show up in the previous releases, but at the same time, the older releases they don't look natural because they pumped up a brightness and it just doesn't have that natural feel. Or this release, because of the darkness, it gives you the natural feel. It's more eerie. I mean, when you're inside of a cabinet with no, lights, a little gas lantern is not going to light up the whole freaking room. So it's only, common sense is it's supposed to be dark. That's how it, should be. But other than that, I mean, the colors, even in the dark scenes, the spots that are lit, the colors just leap off the screen. A lot of depth and detail that you haven't had before. When they're all out in the dock, the wood grain really shows out. I think one of the things that probably was a down negative with that was, especially the dock scene, the whites almost brightened up too much. I'm wondering if it might have just been my personal preference, where the Blu-ray, the white looked a little bit more natural. It wasn't as bright. But that's the only thing I would probably nitpick. Other than that, it was fantastic. Near the end when they're breaking into the office and there's a U.S. Postal Service, mailbox right there by the door, and it just kind of leaps off the, it's dark, but the colors, the writing on it just kind of jumps off the screen. Even at the beginning when after the opening killings, and then you get the screen goes black and the logo comes up, the logo fucking jumps off the screen at you, just like slaps you in the face. That white, it is freaking solid. But again, comparing this with the Blu-ray, I never got the Shop Factory Blu-ray. It came out in 2020. I'm comparing this with the Friday 13th collection that came out in 2013. It came in a metal tin, which I actually have. So comparing with that, like I said, the Blu-ray is, it is brighter, but it's almost too much. Like, it just seems like they just cranked the brightness. They didn't do anything with contrast or colors, and it brought out the grain a lot more. It just made the dark scenes look almost crappy. So that's where this release really, the 4K release, is solid. Everything, like I said, it feels more natural, darker, more eerie. Couple standouts was near the end when you meet Pamela Voorhees and that sweater she's got. The detail, the texture of that, the knitting on that looked incredible. The scene when the three of them are in a cabin getting ready to do their strip monopoly. The one girl, I can't remember her name, she had the shirt sweater she had the different colored striping on it. And definitely the Blu-ray was muted. It was there, didn't have as much detail, but man, the 4K, the colored lines on the shirt really had a lot of detail and a depth to it, popped off the screen. The greens definitely looked had more color to it, the grass and trees, where the Blu-ray is more muted. The 4K is a lot, gives it a lot more color. So mad praise for Paramount for what they did with this. Again, sure it was darker, but man, everything was just so much more rich. Everything was so much more rich, the textures. They just knocked it out of the ballpark. This is the best it's ever looked. So here we'll check out some screenshots comparing this with the 2013 Blu-ray. And we'll come back, talk about the audio, packaging, and bonus features. So we'll see you in a couple of minutes. Now for the audio, Paramount gave us a DTS HD Master Audio 5.1. I forgot to look to see what the shout factor I had. I can't remember if it was the same or not, but I know my Blu-ray from 2013, I think, had Dolby True HD. But the audio track on this was phenomenal. I mean, you don't get a lot of the surround, some nice ambience. Near the end, when they're running through the woods, you hear a couple times, you hear some animals off in the surrounds, and the music, kicks in a little bit, but it's just more, the surrounds basically more ambience, but everything else is well balanced across the front. Dialogue nice and clear. And of course the music score from Harry Manfredini will knock your socks off, especially at the beginning, the opening credits. It sounded incredible. Yeah, I don't think it's ever sounded that damn good. Of course I had it turned up a lot watching it at night. The music just shreds. The powerful horns. You hear the violins and the horns and all the different instruments has a lot more punch to it. And throughout the movie, there's certain scenes when it kicks in solid. Definitely the music score is the highlight of this audio track. Now, as far as the packaging, they gave us a standard, slipcase, which I don't give a shit, so I have a keep case. Comes with no DVD, no special artwork, just plain, no frills, black. Came with a digital code as well. Now for the bonus features, most of this is the same as what was on their previous Blu-ray. I don't know what the Shout Factory release had. Commentary by director Sean S. Cunningham and cast and crew. Fresh cuts, new tales from Friday the 13th. The man behind the legacy, Sean S. Cunningham. Friday the 13th reunion, which was like a sit-down panel where one of the conventions they went to. Lost Tales from Camp Blood Part 1. And the last couple weren't on my Blu-ray, but I don't know if they're on Shout or not, but they're here. The Friday the 13th Chronicles and Secrets Galore Behind the Gore. But watching them, they look like old. They didn't look like there was anything new, so they probably just left them out, and they might have them on a Shout Factory release. So I don't think there's anything new here as far as bonus features go. And there was a couple things that was on the Blu-ray release that's not on this one. So overall, damn good solid release here from Paramount. Of course, I forgot to mention that this does include both the theatrical and the uncut versions, which uncut's only, I think they said 30 seconds longer. It's just the kill scenes are, here, there's a little bit longer. I think I didn't particularly like the extra. I love blood and gore, but they just don't look good here. Especially the Kevin Bacon scene. When he gets killed and that arrow comes up through his neck. When the extra extended shot is, out in front. And even on the Blu-ray releases, the color matching, they did a shitty job. I'm sure it looked great on VHS, but now when this new tech, when you got 4K, you could clearly see the skin tones were not matched from the face to the prosthetic neck and shoulders. So I think that's probably why I prefer the theatrical here, so you don't see the flaws as much. But if you've seen anything negative thing about this, they're full of shit. This is a damn good release. Like I said, the darkness only adds to the eerie feel. Everything feels more natural. The depth and details knocks the socks off of the Blu-ray. Definitely highly recommend picking this up. And as far as the cost goes, right now, Walmart's $19.59, Amazon is the same. Best Buy is even $19.99, and eBay's up to $22. So Walmart and Amazon is your best bet to pick this up. I'm crossing my fingers that this is not the only one they're going to do. The question is Shout Factory, did their license expire and all of them are reverting back to Paramount? So I'm hoping the rest of them get the same treatment. I will definitely be picking them up because I love all the Friday 13ths. Yeah, those later ones are a little bit more cheesier, but they're still really good. Pick this up. You will not be disappointed. So until next time, geek out.